Good morning, everyone. It is Saturday morning, February 11th. My name is Sam Shalhoub, and we're going to talk a little bit today about digital currency, Bitcoin, crypto, and so forth. So, most people have a general misconception that Bitcoin is cryptocurrency and cryptocurrency is Bitcoin. Well, it's kind of true and it's kind of not. Let me give you a quick basic understanding. Cryptocurrencies can be regulated, well, a better term would probably be controlled by a central corporation or a central person, as we saw in like the FTX scandal. This guy takes all this money, he's sending it all over the world, he's sending it to politicians, and then one day, poof, it's just gone. Bitcoin is much different. Bitcoin is a distributed ledger, open source technology. Now, I know that sounds kind of confusing. What it really means is no one person or one entity controls it. It has something called a distributed ledger. I'm sure you've heard about Bitcoin mining, right? Well, you're not taking an axe and a shovel and digging in the ground and mining Bitcoin. What that means is you have a whole bunch of computers, and they're running mathematical computations on the transactions that take place on the blockchain network. So a person in England or in Japan does a transaction with Bitcoin. Well, these computers are running calculations to make sure that it's verifiable. Okay. As with a fiat currency, when the government decides it's time to have more fiat currency, what do? They go on their computer, they type in a few characters, and poof, all of a sudden there's more money, which is part of the reason why we're dealing with inflation to the degree that we are today. So, Bitcoin and crypto are not the same thing. I'm very excited about Bitcoin, and I'm very cautious about cryptocurrency. So, you're noticing recently a lot of hit pieces in the news about cryptocurrency. In my opinion, what they're doing is they're trying to make people uncomfortable and send up red flags about cryptocurrency, hoping that people will be discouraged from using Bitcoin. But there's multiple countries now that are using Bitcoin. El Salvador, for one. And they've just paid off an $800 million bond that they had owed, and it's all based on Bitcoin. So the central banks are trying to produce their own version of cryptocurrency, which is CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. And they can control that. They can increase the supply or decrease the supply. They can, more importantly, control you. They can say, you know what, you're not doing what we want you to do. Poof, your money's gone, or it's on hold, or you can't access it. That's why there's so much talk about what would you call it? CBDCs. They want the full control grid. It's much like the masks. The mask didn't do any good, didn't prevent any disease, but they were able to control people. They were able to instill fear so that they can further control people. Well, what we're seeing happen with the central banks, the CBDCs. I mean, look at Biden, his IRS agents. What is he doing? He's trying to increase it by 87,000 IRS agents. It's more of a control grid. So Russia just announced recently that they have a government-backed company called BitRiver. And lo and behold, BitRiver is producing a Bitcoin mining operation with 30,000 machines. And these machines, all they do is they mine Bitcoin. And when I say mine, they calculate. They make sure that the transactions are proper. The blockchain technology cannot be penetrated. It can't be manipulated. It can't be coerced. It is what it is. It's simple mathematics. There's some people that think that, this Satoshi Nakamoto, who supposedly created Bitcoin, I think personally is a fictional character, and I have my thoughts on who I think it might be. You can hit me in the comments if you'd like to know what my thoughts are on who Satoshi actually is. But it really doesn't matter. This is a sound, non centralized, decentralized money system. One of the biggest things that any government fears because they have no control over it. But this Bit River thing that Russia's doing, 30,000 machines dedicated. Here in America, we have our first Bitcoin mining nuclear facility. I think it's in Pittsburgh or something. I can't remember where it is, but maybe Pennsylvania, maybe Michigan. I don't remember. But the point is, the traction is becoming higher and higher. Bitcoin's going up and down, up and down. But look at the internet. I was in the .com industry, in the technology industry from 1997 to 2001. And that was during the .com boom. And what happened then? The .com boom produced a bunch of revenue, right? But most of those companies went away until that technology was integrated into existing business models. Existing business models such as Walmart or Ford, whoever. They were able to incorporate this new technology, this disruptive technology. And it took, 10, 12, 15 years for it to really start to produce the revenue. Well, Bitcoin is at that point now. Bitcoin has been around now 14 years, I believe it is. It's being adopted more and more each day. So what we're seeing is Bitcoin increasing in terms of its value. That doesn't mean that it's not going to have another bottom or that it's going to, but I think over time, Bitcoin, which there's only 21 million ever available, the value of Bitcoin will go up exponentially. We're at 22,000 per Bitcoin right now. 18.5 million have been mined. So over time, I think we're going to see Bitcoin at a very, very high rate compared to the U.S. dollar, which it's not really a dollar; it's a Federal Reserve note. But we won't get into that whole 1913 Jekyll Isle thing right now. Maybe sometime in the future. So cryptocurrency and Bitcoin are different. Bitcoin is solid. Cryptocurrency can be manipulated, basically in a nutshell. So keep your eye out for these different hit pieces coming out from the mainstream media about, crypto's bad and no, we've got to do this and don't use that. And it's all crap. They're trying to control you. Don't let it happen. Anyway, that's it for today. I hope you have a wonderful Saturday and we'll talk soon.